We are really happy to be talking with Jan Stephenson. We're here at the Senior LPGA Championship in French Lick, Indiana. You just got done playing the second round. Looks like you had a pretty good par there on number 9, your last hole.
Yeah, I played well the second nine. It was our front nine, but I mean it was the front nine, but it was my second nine. I've started to hit the ball well. It's been a long time since I played.
You don't get to tee it up that much anymore.
I have so much going on. I actually do quite a bit with my short game because I do short game clinics when I do my rum and wine tastings, because I have a distillery and a winery. But actually, that part was probably the part that let me down the most.
Well, the weather yesterday was not conducive to great golf anyhow.
No, it's not my type of kind of weather because I have, a broken hand. I have screws in it from when I was mugged, and so it's really hard. I can only hang on with three fingers anyway, and so it makes it really tough when it's cold.
Well, we certainly want to congratulate you on your induction into the Hall of Fame that'll be coming up here this summer. Congratulations on that.
Thank you. It's something that I've always wanted, and I actually couldn't believe that it happened. So I'm really excited about it.
Well, I was looking at your record a little bit. 3 major championships, I think 26 LPGA or professional wins. So certainly deserving on a professional basis from a player's standpoint. But to me, you are kind of the person, Arnold Palmer on the men's side, but you on the women's side, that really kind of set the standard for doing a brand or being a marketing type person off the golf course. That was something that you really worked at?
Well, I really didn't start it. I mean, the commissioner of the LPGA at the time was a new one back in the 70s, and he had come from the NHL, and he goes, "We need to change the whole image and change it up." And I had just come from Australia and won a tournament, and so he goes, "Oh, this is perfect. She can be the new image." And so he asked me if I would do that. I was like, "Yeah, of course." But he said, what I want to do is I'm going to try to rebrand the whole tour with using you, but I want you to I'm going to set up meetings to meet potential sponsors, and I want you to fly in and play golf with them and show what you can do, and this is the new image. And I said, "Oh, okay," but I didn't realize it was going to be so much work because, certainly back then we didn't have cell phones or computers, and so I would get a telex at my hotel or at the golf course saying, "Hey, please get on. There's going to be a ticket. Fly to New York or fly to Ohio, and we've got a potential sponsor." So I spent a lot of time signing contracts with him for 5 and 10 year deals.
Yeah, and today that's a common thing, and the women really work at developing their brand off the course as well. You ended up getting several sponsorships out of it that became very. You got magazine deals, you got all kinds of stuff out of
I
it.
did. I mean, it was really good for both the tour and myself. There's no question that, I made some good money, and it certainly got my brand out there. So that was wonderful.
You've been around the game a long time. I like to ask this question. I'd like one story, whether it's humorous or maybe odd, of a situation that we're in that you found yourself maybe not an everyday kind of thing that involved golf a little bit.
Well, I've got a lot of them, but I think one of the ones that was kind of special was I was playing the senior championship, the mixed championship, excuse me, the mixed team championship with Freddie Couples, and this was in late 70s, early 80s. I want to say it's 1980. And in those days, it was a pretty big superstar, and I actually had to get permission to invite Freddie because nobody knew who he was back then. And we were playing a practice round, and a man came up, and he had a bunch of these strange-looking clubs that were metal. And his name was Gary Adams, and he said, "Hey, I want you to try this 3 wood. It's a spoon, but it goes. I guarantee it'll hit it 30 yards past what you have." And I'm like, "Oh, right." So Freddie says, "Go ahead and hit it and see." And I started hitting it, and it really did go a long way. So I'm like, "I'm going to play this." And then he showed that the USGA had made it legal. And he said, "The only problem is that we played a practice round with it, and I hit it great. And so we're like, I can get home on that 2 on this par on 15." So I came back and said, "I'm going to do you a favor. I'm going to play your club on TV," which, that would be
Yeah,
huge. And he
yeah.
goes, "Well, the problem is that I've given all my clubs out, and I don't have enough gas money to get back to Milwaukee." And he said, "So I need you to buy it." And he said, and I'm like, "You want me to buy a golf club?" And so I said, "Okay, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'm going to give you the money for it." He said, "If you pay me now, I've already got a contract to get a line of credit, and I'm going to make these big time, and it's going to be huge. And we've got a foundry up in Milwaukee area." And so I went, "Okay, fine. No, I don't care about the story." And so I wrote him a check for $181, which in those days was a lot of money for a golf club, and I played it in the tournament. So 6 months later, I got a call, and that was TaylorMade, and I was the biggest endorsed, first endorsed person by TaylorMade with the metal words.
Oh, that's a great story. How did you get started playing golf in the first place in Australia?
Well, my father was a cricket player, so he wanted me to be a professional athlete. So he was training me to do tennis, and then he'd go off and play this new sport called golf. So I really wanted to play golf, and somebody kept saying to him, "You know, your daughter's got a great golf swing. Why are you making her play tennis?" He goes, "Oh, she doesn't play golf. She plays tennis." They said, "No, no, no. She's selling golf balls and swinging in the rough." And so I got caught, and then he said, "Okay, you can stick with golf, but you can't change again." So I didn't.
You were one of the early people that came from Australia to the United States to play. How did that come about?
Well, it was always one of those things that all the superstars came from America, and then I played a professional event in 1973 in Japan, and Judy Rankin and Joanne Connor and Donna Capone were there, and I got to see them, that was it. I wanted to come after that.
Fantastic. Well, yeah, I think you were Rookie of the Year, 1974, as well as winning the majors and all your wins. So, but again, congratulations on the Hall of Fame. Well deserved, and maybe a little long in coming.
Well, thank you. I'm just happy that it did come.
Thank you so much, Jan Stephenson.